my name is Brittany Arciniega. I'm the owner of Lover Farms in Dacusville, and I'm so excited to be here sharing about my animals with you for this Summer Tales and Tales reading program with the Pickens County Library System. Here I've got Flower. She is one of the many animals y'all are gonna meet today. So excited to introduce you to her and all of our other furry friends. First, just wanted to share a little bit about, the first question you might have when you're thinking about getting backyard animals. Am I even allowed to have animals? So the first thing that you want to think about is, do I live in an HOA? Do I live in an incorporated area, right? Am I within the city limits of Pickens or Easley? Or am I in an unincorporated area? It's going to be a lot easier to get whatever animals you want if you live in an unincorporated area like I do here. If you're living in an HOA, the first thing I would check is your HOA bylaws to see what sort of animals you're allowed to have. Lots of neighborhoods may not allow you to have any animals that they consider to be farm animals. Some neighborhoods will allow you to have hens, but not roosters. So it's just a matter of what your particular HOA might say. And then if you're within the city limits, there are also restrictions on what kind of farm animals that you can keep. Generally, you can keep, a small number of laying hens, but you can't have, swine or cattle or probably not even Flower, even though Flower acts more like a dog than a goat. You want to get down? So once you figure out where your property is located and what the particular rules are of your property, you at least know, okay, this is what I'm legally allowed to have. And then you can start planning, okay, how can I make my backyard as friendly as possible, as welcoming as possible, as safe as possible for these animals that I want to welcome. And like we say in my family, plan for success. Not always something I'm great at, but ideally before you bring an animal home, you would have your area set up for them so that when they arrive, everything is ready. So if you can tell, for example, this backyard, which is where Flower lives. Flower's the goat. We've got fencing that's about 4 feet high and is safe for goats. And we've made sure that we've taken all kind of ledges away from the fence. She's a really athletic goat, and so we can't have any benches or trees close to the fence line because she could use those as springboards to get out. So we make sure that the fence is at least 4 feet high for her, that the holes in the fence are small enough so that she can't climb through them, and that there's nothing close to the fence that would allow her to jump out and escape. And other than that, we just make sure that she always has shade, that she always has fresh water, and then we come out and feed her once or twice a day. Yes, Otis, you're next. Get so obnoxious when you know that it's their turn to eat. Girls, are you ready for some breakfast? Huh? So I keep the pigs' food, actually all of the animals' food, I keep in these waterproof big containers. They hold a big 50-pound bag full. So it is an investment up front. These cost about $35 a piece. But it's so nice because you're not refilling the food all the time. It keeps the rain out. I don't keep it inside the pig's pen because I discovered that they're smart enough to unravel the lid. So I keep it out here and come out every morning. You want some too, Flower? Flower also enjoys the pig's food. But they each just get 2 cups of food in the morning. Okay, Flower, you're gonna get your food too. Come here. You're gonna get your food too. You see, all the animals love the pig's food. The chickens. Here, girls. Now we are in the area where I keep 2 pigs, and our chickens also roam freely in here, although our chickens are free range. So the chickens hop over the fence and come in with the pigs, especially when the pigs are eating. But the chickens also wander all around the farm. So I'm here with Graylee. She's an Americana chicken, also called an Easter egger chicken. So her eggs are blue, which they're really beautiful. Maybe we can see if she's already laid this morning. But you can see part of keeping animals is constantly troubleshooting. So you can see, for example, that her back is totally bald. And we knew that it was partially because of the roosters, that the roosters are mounting her to mate with her multiple times a day. But what we also discovered is that and although there are lots of places where she can just walk through the fence, for whatever reason, she has found a place where she likes to squeeze under the fence, and it scrapes her back every time she does it, and we don't know how to stop her from doing it because there are all sorts of other places she can cross the fence, but she's just decided that she likes to dig under the fence in this one area. So this is an example of something where, you know, when you get chickens, you don't know what to do necessarily. What do I do when my chicken starts losing feathers? What do I do? For example, I had a chicken that broke its foot. What do I do if my chicken has a broken foot? So we ended up, I consult the internet a lot. I consult other farmers a lot. And you know, I've ended up making one of our chickens over there, and the other coop has an actual splint on its foot. We made a little splint out of sticks and tape to fix its broken foot. So keeping animals surely is it's a steep learning curve. You're never done learning, but as long as you're always open to problem solving and finding creative solutions, I think it's really rewarding. Here you can see two of our pigs. The large black one is Lulu. The small pink one is Debbie. Lulu is actually, we adopted her from the Asheville Humane Society. You know, we often think of humane societies as having cats and dogs, but the Asheville Humane Society also has farm animals. One thing I learned since having pigs as pets is that pigs like belly rubs about as much as dogs do. So this is Lulu, if you scratch her on her belly, she'll flop right over like a dog. And if you scratch her little back leg, she'll lift her little back leg up. And I think it's the funniest thing. Pigs love to be pet. Their hair is really coarse, and so, you know, it's not soft like a dog's fur would be. But they're just so loving, and they just love to be scratched on and loved on. I should say, if it's not obvious, I don't eat any of my animals. I don't eat animals at all, actually. So all of the animals here are just pets. We do eat the chicken eggs, but other than that, these animals are just friends, not food. And I did want to point out that part of this steep learning curve with animals is figuring out how to fence your area safely so that they can't escape. And my neighbors will tell you that it took me quite a while. There was a period of time when Lulu was escaping a lot and running over to the neighbor's house, or she would escape and come up on our front porch and try to get into the house. One night when we had only had her for about a week, she escaped in the middle of the night and scared us so badly because it's an old farmhouse and the front door doesn't always fully latch. And she went up the porch in the middle of the night, slammed her body into that front door, and actually got into the house. And we found her in the living room. So she wants to be a house pig. I'm not going to let her be a house pig. But we discovered that it's really important. With pigs, you can either have electric fencing, and pigs are so smart that they train really quickly to electric fencing, or you have to have something solid that they can't burrow under, because they're really good at burrowing. You can see all the ground here. They've burrowed. This used to be all grass. So we had to put boards at the bottom of the fence here all the way around the fence so that they couldn't burrow their way out. But ever since we added the boards, now she has been, you know, fingers crossed, but it has been several months without her escaping. So this is Benito the goat. This is Kevin the sheep. They're buddies. They were raised together. Both of them lost their moms, and so they've been together ever since they were little. We got them together, and so even though Benito's a goat and Kevin's a sheep, they're still the best of friends. You can see Kevin just got his summer haircut, so I sheared him just with a simple sheep shears that I bought online. I left a little bit up top, so he's got a little mohawk, and you can see what this is what his wool looks like. But you can extract lanolin from the sheep wool, and so if you feel his wool, it's very sort of oily, almost kind of sticky. Yeah, you guys are gonna get your food now. These are our donkeys, Otis and Thelma. Otis is the darker brown one, he's a boy. Thelma is a girl. They're a bonded pair, so they're best friends, but Otis has been castrated. So they can't make babies together, but they are best friends. And if anyone has ever read the kids book, Thelma the Unicorn, that's where their names came from. There's one of our favorite kids books is about a mini horse who really wants to be a unicorn. So she leaves her best friend Otis and goes to the big city to have a career as a unicorn, and then comes back to the farm eventually to be with her friend Otis. So that's what they're named after. Donkeys are also very friendly, very social. They like to have their ears rubbed. You know, they will come up to you at the fence. They're also really great if you have other smaller animals like sheep or goats, because they will protect. So they're very protective. And they will make noise if they hear, for example, a coyote or a fox or skunks. We have a lot of skunks here. And so if you are going to have other animals, it is helpful to have donkeys, as they kind of play the role of security guard to keep potential predators away. Some folks, do ask about, well, aren't they really noisy? And they are. They hee-haw and they bray, especially when it's dinner time and they're hungry, or they'll just sometimes make noise because they see you coming and they're excited. But it's really not that bad. So I have not found their noise to be too off-putting, but certainly, if you've got neighbors really close, and you might want to talk to them before you consider getting some donkeys. This is Cinnamon the horse. Cinnamon was rescued from the Dacusville Humane Society. She is 23 years old. Cinnamon and her mom belonged to an older couple up closer to Asheville. The husband passed away, and the wife couldn't care for them anymore, and so she surrendered them. And so Cinnamon was living at the Asheville Humane Society's pasture for a while, and we rescued her last summer. One thing that's important to know if you're going to have equine animals like donkeys or horses is that you have to care for their hooves. That's one very easy way for donkeys to suffer and horses to suffer, is if you don't care for their hooves. And so the person whose job it is to care for the hooves is called a farrier. So one of the first things we did when we got the donkeys is to find a farrier. And so this is a person who comes to the farm usually once about every 3 months, and he's got a big tool belt, he's got files and clippers, and he takes the donkeys and the horse over by the barn, and he clips their nails and files them to make sure that they don't grow too long. We don't ride Cinnamon, so we don't have to put horseshoes on her. She's just in the pasture. But she still does get her hooves trimmed once every few months. And she also, we have a large animal farm vet that comes out to the farm and cares for everybody. So another question is, if you're going to have farm animals, how do you can't very easily get a donkey into the car to take him to the vet. And so Martin's Veterinary is the service that we use, and they're great. One of the few veterinary offices that still does farm visits. And so if you call them, they've got a truck full of equipment, and they'll actually drive out to your farm. And so he comes about twice a year to give everybody their rabies shots, their vaccines, to check everybody. He came and, you know, cleaned Cinnamon's teeth a few months ago. So they're excellent, but it's important if you're going to have if you're going to have any animals, to have a veterinarian that you trust, and if you're going to have horses or donkeys, to also have a farrier that can help care for their hooves. And they were born overnight, so we came out one morning and she had delivered overnight. Pigs don't need help birthing, they just do it by themselves. But she had birthed 8 and only 5 survived. So there is a special high protein food that you can get for nursing moms called Sow Chow. We didn't buy that, so we've just increased her normal food rations. You know, we've about doubled what she gets, and then we also give her more treats. So she gets peanut butter sandwiches. Peanut butter sandwiches are her favorite. Thank you so much for coming on our tour of Lover Farms, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the summer programming at Tails and Tales reading activities at the Pickens County Public Library System. I would love to have you out to the farm. We do birthday parties, we host classes, we also host small events. So if you'd like to get in touch with me, learn more about bringing your own family and friends out to the farm, you can find us on Instagram at Lover Farms. You can also find our website is www.loverfarms.com. Thanks.